live. Welding vlog 7. Making a cup of tea. Bear with me. Need to wash a mug. All live. Oh, it's all live here. Have we got anyone tonight? Is anyone going to pop in? I'll have it going for a little while. Oh, we've got somebody in and we've got a like. Just making a cup of tea because I need it. I'm absolutely shattered. And I need a shower. Oh, I could fall asleep. Peter! I am absolutely knackered. Probably said that already. Oh. Well, today, well, 3 likes and only 1 person in. YouTube's weird. Give me a moment, guys and girls. Make myself a tea, sit down, take a load off, then explain what I've been up to today. Let us know who you are, and and yeah, I'll give you a shout out if need be. And yeah, another little chat with me about my welding. I'm exhausted. I'm going to sleep well tonight, I tell you that. Oh, when I got home, I found out that, well, I walked towards the front door and I left the house at 4 o'clock and I found that Georgia was still sat on the doorstep waiting for me. How cute is that? Tea bags, put them in the pot. Oh. Who's here? Let's have a look at the chat. How do I bring that box up? Live chat. There we go. Only Peter. Yeah, she is very cute. She's sat on the floor at the moment, being grumpy. I've already spent time fussing over her. Yep, welcome to the channel. If anyone's new, I do welding, working on my car, bikes, and a few other bits and bobs. And I'm currently at college. Hello, Georgia. Right, I will start talking to you about what we got up to today. When we first turned up, yeah, black lines, it's good for my belly. It stops me belching so much, even though I belch a lot. But it's quite tasty. I quite like it. And it's good on cereal. And it's not expensive. Okay, so this is the booklet that they printed, and it got printed backwards. So the back page is the front page. Strange, I know. Anyway, hey Andrew. So what we were talking about today is, I don't know if you can focus on that. No, you probably can't. It says welding defects. So what can cause defects when you're welding? So there's all sorts of different reasons why. It could all... Gucci, long time no see. It's always nice to see you pop in. Guys, Gucci is one of my longest subscribers to my channel. Been here for a very long time. Oh, nearly fell off the stool. Okay, so the T-piece, that one there, look, T-piece. If you start off at one end of a weld and it's nice, and it slowly gets thinner. There are reasons for this. So you've got, when it gets thinner, it means you're speeding up. So it means the weld doesn't have a chance to spread out. So that happens frequently. It's just learning, it's just understanding consistency. Um, so the next one was weld straightness. So you remember, I think if you remember seeing me doing the straight lines on a plate, if you're wibbling all over the place, as one of the other students said, you might be drunk. But the tutor said that always crops up. But what can affect weld straightness? Well, as I found out, visibility and the angle of the weld, how holding the torch at the right angle. How many of us for today? Quite a few people turned up today. I think it was about 7 or 8 people today, so a bit like double the amount of last week. We have had a few people drop out, sadly. People haven't turned up, and it's quite sad really, because there was one lady who she attended like 3 lessons, and then she just vanished. But she had a family, and she was going straight to welding after work, and she must have been exhausted. So maybe that was part of it. Anyway, we're going to go on to the next one. So weld faults, porosity. So if the weld is porous, you could have not enough gas, poor torch angle, wind conditions. So if you're welding outside, the air blows away the gas from your welding, so that's going to cause it to be porous. It's not going to be a good weld. Moisture, dampness, if you're welding outside in a damp garage. I won't Gucci. I'm going to keep going. I've got something to talk about after I've finished talking about this as well. I don't know do you guys really want to hear about all this? Mind you, it is my vlog, and also dirty material can cause it to be porous. Hey Ivor, good to see you here. Thank you very much for dropping in. I thought I'd do a live vlog, make a change. So yeah, quite a few things can cause porous welds. You've got a cold lap and overlap as well, means that the material is not warm enough. So you can have like the weld, so if you're butt welding, and if the material isn't warm enough, it can like molten lava pouring out of a volcano. It's going to sort of like kind of like puddle over, so to speak. But a little bit. I don't know if you can see the image in there. Probably not. It's kind of creeping over the side a bit. But the next one, that one there, I've done that one quite a few times. It's just cold lap on a T fillet, which is this one here. That's a T fillet. If you're aiming for the angle in the corner and you don't quite get it right, you end up with a weld too high or too low, depending on where you're trying to aim, and you end up with the where the weld hasn't gone in properly is called a notch. So that's that one. There's quite a few here, so I don't know if you guys want to get a drink. You've got undercut. Undercut is where you're welding something and part of the material you're welding into melts, and it can be weakened from that, because then the main piece of steel or whatever it is you're welding is thinner in that point, so it's going to be slightly weaker. So the cause of this as well is too high a settings, the torch angle, and the speed you're going at. So if you're slowing down, you're creating more heat, which means the parent metal is going to melt. And the same with an undercut as well. So you've got no, there's 2 different types of undercut, sorry. So you've got the T-piece undercut, so it welds up here, it undercuts up here, and you've got the fillet type where it melts at the side. It's basically the same effect. You have the underfill, where you are doing a butt weld and there's not enough weld in the hole or the part that you're welding. Any nasty bums yet? No, they're all really, really nice. If you're doing an underfill, the ideal angle is 30 to 35 degrees. Um, so to for an underfill, if you're not filling enough, could be a wire speed or you're moving too fast. A lot of it is very relative to each other. See, I won't go through all of this. So to be honest with you, it's going to be boring. So if you're going too slow, you can put too much metal in, which means you've got to grind it back. If there's not enough, you've got to go over it again and fill it in. You can also have problems with metal cracking because it's cooling down too quickly. So that's an issue. You've also got shrink back. So if you're welding into something like a butt weld, a lot of these are butt welds, to be fair, as you can tell. I see what you mean now. I just got the joke. God, what am I like? Very funny. Yeah, a lot of these are butt welds. Not very nice butts. No cigarette butts, thankfully. But yeah, shrink back is where the metal cools too quickly and it pulls itself back into the parent metal. Lack of penetration. Titter. You can have not enough travel, too fast, wrong settings, material being too thick. See more butts. What else have we got here? Inclusions. So if you're welding something, say, I think the tutor said about, what did he call it now? There's a certain type of welding where it leaves like a crust on the top of the metal, and you have to use a hammer to knock it all away. And if you don't clean it all up properly and you weld over the top of it, you can end up with an inclusion. So that could be anything between what they call slag, giggle, rust, a bit of wire, some paint from some old metal you're welding. So it's best to keep your work clean. And then you've got, say, like an isolated pore. Say, if you're welding and you're too close to the target, your gas is going, and you create like a little bubble inside the metal. So that's caused by too much gas. And you can also have what they call a pipe where the gas tries to escape and rises. So again, that's too much gas and mostly caused by dirty metal. Cracking, like I said before, is rapid cooling. So he did explain to me, or us shall I say, that when you have, say, people making gas pipes, the pipes themselves, the metal has to be preheated, sometimes up to a day before it can be welded, because the metal can cool extremely quickly, which will cause it to crack, which I thought was interesting. Absolutely, actually, I had no idea that target metal, depending on where you're working, has to be heated before you can weld it. I had no idea, so that's really interesting to know. It's got some preheat and post-heat writing there, but it's so small I'd need to be an ant. It's just microscopic and I can't read it. What else have we got? Yeah, we're nearly at the end now. Welding faults, excessive penetration, giggle, giggle. Too much gas. Too much gap between the two pieces of metal you're welding. Too much heat and wire will cause too much metal to go in and force its way out wherever it finds itself. And say if you're welding into a pipe, for example, and you weld too much, the exposed metal on the inside of that pipe will cause friction as to whatever is passing through that pipe. You don't want that. So the next one is lack of sidewall fusion. So I don't know if you can tell, there's like a little triangle there. So when you weld into that little space, you have to fuse to either side when you're welding. So if one side doesn't fuse, it means you're aiming too much towards the side that has fused. Welders get paid well. My dad was heavy plant fitter. Nice. Andrew? No. Naughty. Naughty. Okay, so the next one I've never heard of before. Lack of inter-run fusion. So I've never heard of it before. Okay, so say you have a piece of metal that deep. Okay, so that's about that deep, right? And you weld at the bottom, and you fill that weld, and you weld on top of it, but it doesn't fuse to the piece below. That is called lack of inter-run fusion. So that is caused by lack of heat and moving too slowly. And I suppose in a way that could also cause cracking if it doesn't fuse to the side pieces. That can also lead as well to lack of root fusion. Nothing to do with fruit, just root. Yeah. So the torch angle can cause this. It's a little bit like excessive penetration, and the metal that comes out the other side isn't even, and it's kind of like to one side. So the corner piece of metal from the parent metal is exposed, so that's weak. So torch angle causes that. Preparation of the parent metal and making sure it's clean, so you've got something to bond to when you're welding. That is very important, by the way. Not enough heat, and your welding settings too low. So another weld fault is burn through. So if you're obviously that speaks for itself really. If you're welding a piece of metal and you burn through it, it's too much power, too much heat. Bring it back down. And the one he mentioned as well, called a crater, I didn't really get what he was trying to talk about, but if I show you this, that there, can you see that? There's a bit of green on the top there. So that's weld. And then you've got a crater here. But he did say you can, if you're going to continue welding, you can start here, create a puddle, and then continue welding. So I wasn't overly sure. I might have to ask him about that again. We've got a few more. And then after I've done this, I will show you the lap welds that I did this evening. Yeah, 2 more to go. Uneven leg length. Yes, it gives you a funny walk. Okay, so this here is what we're talking about here. So either side of this piece of metal is a weld, of course, as you can see. Yeah. So as you can see, there's penetration through there. You can see that. Or a heat bloom, as they call it. A bit of dirt. That side is better, okay? Much better. So if I'd welded that, and that's fine, and on this side, actually I can show you. I'm just hoping this reflection here doesn't cause a problem. If I can show you there, see that bit's higher up and that bit's lower down. That there is exactly what I'm talking about. That's uneven leg length. So I'm pointing down more towards the lower piece of metal than the upper, and I should be right in the middle. So that there is torch angle. That's a failure. So that can be bad. So then the last thing, features of a good butt weld. Okay, so there's 8 features, 8 points of this. So number 1, even profile. Number 2 is that the toe, when it curves over the top of the weld, and then it meets the parent metal at the top. If it's smooth, then it's good. Good sidewall fusion, so in the cut between the two pieces of steel. The weld is solid. The root face. I'm not really sure what root face means. Oh no, of course, root face is the underside. And you're going to have heat bloom, but what you don't want is anything coming through other than the penetration. So if there is a little bit of metal that comes through the butt weld, if it's more than 3 mil, it's no good. So within that tolerance, it's fine. And the top as well, I think, is the same. Yeah, 3 mil on the top. Then you've got number 7, which is the root gap. So the gap between the two pieces of metal. You need to be aware of how, when you're filling that piece of that gap, that what you're using is enough, not too much. Yeah, number 8 is like excess root metal. So if that sticks out by 3 mil or more, no, more than 3 mil, sorry, grind it back. Even the top, actually, you can grind that down as well. So basically, that is all. That's all. We went into the classroom and did this today. So yeah, that was the first hour or so, and then we went into actually doing some welding and lap welds. So we've done the T piece, we've done the piece like that, so the angled like that and welding in the corner. We've done the staggered one where you've got lots of those welded together and you're resting on one now. And then today we did the lap welds. So what you do is you get 2 pieces of metal like this and you rest them together flat, and then you have another piece of metal to hold the other one up, because otherwise it will just fall down. So what you do is you tack weld one at either end there, because underneath that one is your spare piece of metal to hold it up. So then you flip it over and you have a completely clean surface to weld from there to there. Hello, Carol. I think you missed me yapping about the course. But yeah, this is I'm quite happy with this. I'm really happy with this one, but the one I gave my tutor is even better. When I'm looking through the welding mask and I can see the metal that I'm working on, when you strike the arc, it's so bright you can see the edge of the top piece of metal that you're welding to. So what you want to do is, so if I this piece here, if I was going to weld in here, I would weld about 1 millimeter away from that piece there. So I'm aiming down into here, so it's 1 millimeter back. So I really enjoyed doing this. I was very frustrated at first to try and get this nailed down, but this one I will show you. I messed it up quite a bit actually. It started off really nice there, look, because it's quite a wide, smooth weld there. But as I go along, I'm getting to the end, and what can you see? What can you tell me about that weld? What can you tell me? What do you think? What do you see when you look at that? Yes. At that end there? A little bit, yes. But the main thing about it, the main thing about it is that this end here is wider and smoother. That end is more narrow. So when it goes narrow, Yeah, it's a bit difficult, I know. This old phone is not great for filming, I'm afraid. Anyway, the reason why it gets thinner at this end is because I started to speed up. If I'd have stayed consistent from here at least, it wouldn't have been a problem. But this one, it is a little bit wobbly, but it's wide and it's consistent and it's solid. Yeah, yeah. But when I can look at, see if I was welding that one there, when I'm welding it, you can see the puddle and you can see just the edge of that top piece melting away. And when I'm doing that, that's giving me confidence to just keep going. Sorry, I give you the finger. Yeah, so it does give me a lot of confidence. It really does. It's weird. You can see a little bit of penetration there, look. See that? Across there? I know this camera's rubbish. But yeah, you can see a bit of penetration coming through. But it's not like, usually you get like a heat bloom. This one's actually better. You can see more of a heat bloom there. Here. So yeah, the heat bloom is better on that one, but I've got better penetration on that one. So yeah, really happy about today's work. And also the last couple of days, I have actually been going online, having a look, see if I can find some vacancies, doing some welding. I haven't held down some full-time work in quite some time, and I don't think I could do full-time just yet. I think part-time welding work for me would be fine, but I don't think there is such a thing as part-time welding. So I will, Matthew, I will. I think what I'll do is I might use the not so good metal here for practice with my welder downstairs. I'll use this one. Because I'm used to welding thinner material, but no, saying about the part-time work, I wouldn't mind. So I mean, a few people have said to me, why don't I, go self-employed? But I know nothing about self-employment. I haven't got a clue. So yeah, that's the crux at the moment. But it would be interesting, but I don't know if there's an initial cost for outlay. I really don't know. I really don't know. Past 2 years to pass out a 6G pipe. What does that mean? Missed the start. We'll watch it all later. Thank you, Terry. Very kind. Great to see you welding, and hopefully it passes on to other ladies. Also annoying when people don't give it a good go. Yeah, it is frustrating. But I'd like to get into what Alex is doing, because she's welding her classic car in her garage right next to her house. I wish I could do that with mine, but I can't. If I could take my car up to hers and not be in the way, that would be amazing. 6G is a position of pipe. Okay, that's interesting. I've never heard of that before, but it's interesting to know. Ooh, I am knackered. One of the pieces I was welding today, I was going really, really well, and all of a sudden a spark flew up, hit me on the top of my ear, and I went, so it ruined my weld. So that was fun. 45-degree angle in the air. Oh yes. Yeah, with this welding, yeah, they do talk about the angles and everything, but they don't go into specifics. So from fire once. Oh God, I welded my finger to the bulkhead once. That was fun. And the Cortina, I didn't realise that where I was pointing, my finger was on the other side. That blooming hurt. Can't remember which finger it was now. I think it was that one. Flat plate first, like flat plate. What I'm doing here, you mean flat plate? Thing is, this is much thicker than what I'm usually doing. I mean, this, how thick is this steel? You're talking 3 mil thick, I think, 3 or 4 mil. And I'm usually welding 1 mil thick. Or thinner, you know. My hands were covered in second-degree burns at college. Oh, God. Hey, 69. Hope you are well. Was watching Ben the Porter. Oh, okay. Big holes, yes. If you haven't seen my Cortina videos, trying to weld the A-pillar panels, they're fun. That was much fun. I really missed welding the car. Really missed welding the car. I have to ask, who, I keep seeing the name Stu. Who is Stu? I don't see anyone called Stu on the screen. Is that 69? You know, butt weld, T-joint. T-joint. Ah, okay, so 69 is Stu. Hello, Stu. Nice to meet you. I haven't done, I think I did butt welds, I think the first or second day or something. Yeah. Right, I'm knackered. I'm going to drink my tea and I'm going to go and wash my head because my head is going to be filthy and I've got to go volunteering tomorrow. So thank you all for joining me tonight. That's very kind of you. Practice pad welds, yes. Oh, before I go, I took the Cortina door and both good wings out of the shed today because it was getting damp in there and I really don't want them getting rustier. Oh, I'm trying to keep my eyes open. I don't think I'm going to be joining Boti tonight. I'm just so tired. Get an early night, go to bed. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening. Say hello to Boti for me and tell him to do something with his box. I don't know. All right, see you later. Good night, everyone. How do I turn this thing off? Oh, there we go. Okay, bye.